everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, reminding you that only you can prevent MD-directed allopathic reductionism. Only you can prevent MD-directed allopathic reductionism. Check out the archives. They're free. The radio archives are free. And over the break, we checked out Shirley from California. On July 17th, I told you to take detailed symptom history. I've got it right there in recording. So take the advice, please. If you call me up, listen to my advice. Follow the advice to the best of your ability. If you have trouble following the advice, call me up. We'll figure it out, right? Because that's how we do it. Teamwork. Let's go to another part of California now and talk to Daniel about varicose veins, I think. Hey, Daniel, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, I think I called last week talking about scrotum varicose veins, and I'm on a plan now with longevity products. But I've noticed that I think it's been affecting my my fertility, and I was wondering what longevity products I can purchase for that, or other things I can try and do.
Well, yeah, these are great questions, right? And so what you need to understand here is that from our point of view, which is the correct point of view regarding human physiology and, biochemistry and, life, the universe and everything, is that it's all connected. Everything's a holistically oriented organism. So when we get on board with a holistic health program, right, we stop eating food that's coming up the works. We give the body the essential nutrients that it needs in order to optimize its function, and then we add on a couple of things to support lung function or to support circulatory function or to support bladder function or whatever. These things all have trickle-down effects across the board. So, as your health improves with this medical nutrition program, specifically for the varicose veins in the scrotal area, you would anticipate positive change across the board as well. Now, of course, fertility is related to hormones. Hormones are related to cholesterol, because every hormone in the human body, I don't care if it's a stress hormone or a sex hormone, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, they're all made from cholesterol. So one of the things that anybody can do to support and promote healthy hormone function is to eat a lot of cholesterol. And don't worry, there's no relationship between heart disease and cholesterol. And if you think that's news, I don't know where you guys have been. Because my colleague, Dr. Wallach, in 1972 published an article that showed that coronary artery disease had nothing to do with cholesterol, has everything to do with inflammation in the arteries. I wrote about in my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, by the way, which is available on Amazon.com, all about the cholesterol myth. And there's a Russian doctor named Ufi Ravenskov. He wrote all about the cholesterol myth. There's no relationship between high cholesterol and heart disease. It does not exist. So the only other thing that you can do, Daniel, to kind of move this along faster is eat a diet that's high in cholesterol. The easiest way to do that is with the lowly chicken egg, man. Just eat chicken eggs until they're coming out of your nose. 12 chicken eggs a day. Remember, with butter and salt, that's how we roll. Salt is also one of the most important nutrients you can take, one of the most important foodstuffs you can put into your body every day. Salt, salt, salt. Again, who told you to stop salting your food? The MD. And since you've been following their advice, the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, MD-directed treatments, and our health is going to hell in a handbasket because we've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. We've listened to the wrong person. The only thing we should ever listen to an MD for is advice about acute trauma, infectious disease, and surgery when it's absolutely necessary. For goodness sake, you wouldn't go to a chiropractor for advice about which scalpel to use for open heart surgery, right? That's not their domain. Well, why would you listen to anything that an MD has to say about nutrition? They don't know anything about it at all. And yet we have been socialized to believe that the MD knows everything about everything, and it's killing us. This is the single biggest mistake we make, marching down the road of life. We believe that our MD knows what's best for us, and they do not. They only know what they've been trained in, and what they've been trained in is one small piece of the pie of medical science. It's great for trauma, for surgery when it's necessary, and a handful of prescription medications. But even Harvard University says over 55% of emergency room medical doctors are addicted to psychotropic drugs, street drugs, or alcohol. And I'm the quack. For goodness sake, Daniel, don't worry about it, man. Eat more eggs. If you want to have a healthier, fertility ratio, take the nutritional supplements that I talked about before. Give the program 90 days, man. Give it 90 days. Make sure you clean your diet up. This is a fundamentally important thing. Everybody has to stop the 10 bad foods, and everybody has to fill their nutritional tank up appropriately with the 90 essential nutrients and whatever else they need to support and promote the structure and function of that part of your body. And you've heard the testimonials. When you do these things, remarkable things happen, because you have been misled by centuries, well, not centuries, by about 100 years, actually. It was about 95 years of pharmaceutical propaganda. You have been played by Big Pharma. Going up to one of my favorite countries in the world now, Canada, to talk to Genevieve about fertility. Oh, there we go. We're going to do a 2-for-1 here. Hey, Genevieve, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Yes, hi. I have some infertility problems. I've been going to see a fertility doctor, and he's saying that all I need is progesterone. As well as I'm borderline diabetic. I've been taking your product for longevity for about 3 months, and I've controlled my diabetes where I don't need metformin at all anymore.
Excellent. You go, girl.
And I'm just wondering, when it comes to my husband and I having a child, I'm 34.
Yeah.
Also, since I've been taking your product, I've lost 22 pounds.
Woohoo!
Yes. We are now selling your product here in Canada.
Well, you got to love that. That makes you the smartest husband and wife in Alberta. Good job. Very, very, very good.
My husband's also lost 22 pounds.
Unbelievable.
The reason why I'm calling today is to find out what I can do naturally to help us to conceive a child.
Well, more of the same. All you really need to do is make sure. Have you eliminated the 10 bad foods? Have you done that?
Most of them.
So the answer is no.
No.
Yeah, that's like the doctor asks you, well, are you pregnant? And they say, well, mostly pregnant, right? You're either pregnant or you're not. You're either stopping the 10 bad foods or you're not. So now, I'm assuming, right, that you've done all the standard testing and all of your plumbing is intact and that everything is in good working order. Is that correct?
A blockage in my right tube.
A little bit of a blockage in your right tube, that's it?
Possibly, yes.
Possibly. So there's a possible, not a definitive. It's a possible blockage in your right tube. That's it.
Yes.
All right. Now, here's what I want you to understand, right? So, you're going to a fertility clinic, is that covered by Health Canada, or is that a private thing that you had to pay out of the pocket for?
It's covered until I need to go on to treatment.
Okay.
My visits are covered.
All right. So, you're at the doctor's and you have a problem. The doctor doesn't want to look bad. And so the doctor's going to pull a rabbit out of his hat because he's got to tell you something. Well, we think it might be a possible, probable, presumptive blockage in the right fallopian tube. Well, thanks a lot, Doc. That would seem to me to be a relatively easy thing to figure out. Is it possible, or is it probable, or is it definitive? I mean, for goodness sake, I'm paying you all this money. I want to know, number one. Number two, for goodness sake, these people just make stuff up all of the time. For now, Dr. Wallach rightly says, and Doc's a funny guy, and every time he says this I chuckle, but it's absolutely true. He's gotten more women pregnant than anybody in the United States. It's true. I've met hundreds of women who have conceived because of the medical nutrition program that Dr. Wallach has put them on. So our basic fundamental position, right, is that life wants to live and that the human body is very forgiving and very resilient, and there is, an evolutionary drive here. Well, maybe not evolutionary. There's a natural drive here for the system to reproduce itself, right? There's a natural drive going on here. So really, when all the plumbing is intact, you haven't been had your uterus crushed, heaven forbid, from an automobile accident, or you took a bungee jump, off of the cliff when you were 15 years old, and you had trauma to the abdomen or whatever, right? Or your husband had a damage to the scrotum from a hockey puck, right? When there's been no trauma historically, then we're in good stead here, because the reproductive tract of the human organism is resilient and wants to produce. So what do? We clean the diet up 100%. We clean the diet up 100% and give the body all the raw materials it needs to optimize its function. And, in this case, because there's been a presumptive or maybe even a definitive deficiency in progesterone, we need to attend to that. So how do we attend to that? Number one, by giving the body more cholesterol. You don't have a progesterone deficiency because, you have a birth control pill deficiency or a synthetic progesterone deficiency, right? Your body has presumptively run out of the stuff it needs to make progesterone, and what's that? Cholesterol. So the first thing to do here is eliminate the 10 bad foods, all of them. Okay, just go for it. Just trust me and go for it. Your husband too. Number 2, 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of HGH Youth Complex, that's HGH Youth Complex, per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and a diet that's high in cholesterol. I mean, have 6, 7, 8 eggs a day with butter and salt, have chicken with the skin, have rare meat, rare caribou. Have your husband run out there on the tundra and kill a caribou, for goodness sake. Eat it raw. I want you to have cholesterol, and more cholesterol. Your husband, too. I want both of you to be on the same diet, and life is going to be good. And by the way, I think Dr. Glidden is a very... Hey. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today is August 5th, 2013. I'm your host, Dr. Peter Glidden, to another live edition of Fire Your MD Now. You know what time it is now, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know what time it is now? It's testimonial time. That's right. It is time for testimonials. You've heard me talk a blue streak over and over and over about your body's ability to fix itself. Blah, 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 blah. Well, let's go right down to Miami, to Abby, and get it straight from the horse's mouth. It's testimonial time, my friend. Thanks for calling. You are live.
Thank you again, Dr. Glidden, for taking my call. This is going to be quick, and it's going to be with a number. Just a number, because people relate to numbers. Okay, just want to let everybody know that my family, my daughter, my wife, and I, on the last insurance that we were going to have, we were going to have to pay about $850 a month for insurance, for health insurance, medical insurance. We decided not to do it because it was going to be about $10,000 a year. And we said, well, what's coming back to us? Nothing. We had already joined longevity at the time, and actually, no, at the time we were not in longevity. We were not. We knew nothing about longevity. We found longevity after that. We had no insurance. And we joined longevity, and we have spent in a year $8,431 or something like that. We spent less. We decided to spend less than we were going to spend on medical insurance. And in the time, I personally recovered, I gave my testimony on February 17th. But, I continued to recover a few things after that. I have recovered close to 30 health issues.
Whoa. You had 30 health issues, 30 health issues, and they're all gone with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition.
Yes, and with less money than what it was going to cost the insurance, the medical insurance. But not only myself, my daughter and my wife, all of us, the three of us, we have recovered, several things, but I was critical. I was really, really going downhill. And I have no way to do any of what I have recovered from, to do it by paying medical insurance. And I have seen a few people get sick, suffer, and die throughout this year. And it's very sad. And, I feel really bad for them. I have delivered them the message. Most of them didn't even want to listen.
Well, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the live stream here via YouTube, if you're watching the live stream here via YouTube, I'm pulling up a picture, a before and after picture of Abby from Miami, and it is a major eye-opener, ladies and gentlemen. I got to pull it up right here. It's a major eye-opener. A picture is worth 1,000 words. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Let me pop it up right here now, buddy. Hold on. There it is. Bada bing, bada boom. Check it out right now, ladies and gentlemen. Streaming to you live. Just go to fireyourmdnow.com. Fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the YouTube stream, and there it is. Abiezer Amude, before and after. That's pre-longevity, post-longevity. Not only does he look like $1 million, he feels like $1 million. He's recovered from 30 health conditions in a year with less money than it would have cost him to buy medical insurance. And what would the medical insurance have delivered him? More of the same. Disease management, symptom suppression. Disease management, symptom suppression. Disease management, symptom suppression. Ultimately, death. Abby, you continue to be an inspiration to everybody. By the way, Abby and his wife, Adonis, are coming up in a couple of weeks. They're going to have the very first Spanish longevity radio show right here on Genesis Communication Network. Abby, you are the man. Keep up the good work. As we round out this segment, Abby, I've got to let you go with a great big Dr. Glidden. Round of applause. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Taking your calls when we come back. A picture really is worth 1,000 words. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here. I got to put that slide up one more time. By the way, visit the YouTube channel, Dr. Peter Glidden. Go to YouTube, just type in Dr. Peter Glidden, or just go to fireyourmdnow.com, and we got a link right there on the front page for the live video feed of the radio program each and every day. There he is, Abby from Miami, making positive, life-affirming decisions, not only for himself, but for his entire family. And we lean on results. Gotta love it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard one more time. I am Dr. Peter Glidden. Tonight, Monday, we have a live webinar. Tonight's webinar is a live chat with yours truly, for subscribers only. As a subscriber to my online health recovery program, you have access to 4+ hours of live webinars a week. 4 or more hours of live webinars a week, and right now over 80 hours of archived health recovery information for $20 a month. Cancel at any time. Why would anybody want to cancel that? I have no idea. Check it out. FireYourMDNow.com. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen, and suffering is optional. Going to go up to Maine right now and talk to Allie, who's calling in from Maine. By the way, they got lobsters and scallops up there. Ain't no such thing as a scallop, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. The correct pronunciation always has been and always will be scallop. Ain't that right, Allie? Thanks for the phone call. You alive.
Correct, Dr. Peter Glidden, and thank you very much for having me on.
My pleasure.
I think where do we want to start? I think we'll start with cancer. I have just cause for bringing this issue.
Very good.
I met my wife 54 years ago in kindergarten. We have pictures dating back to the 4th grade.
Wow.
In fact, you just mentioned August 5th. Today would have been 41 years. We were married 39 years. My son was 6 months old at my graduation. I'm tired of the way the country is being run. I'm tired of Big Pharma and the FDA running a cartel, sleeping in the same bed for years. Actually, it's simplified, murdering people every second of every day with their drugs. My wife was one of the most beautiful women you would ever meet in your life. To know her was to love her. In November of 2005, my wife was diagnosed with large B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oof.
And the chase was on. Just 9 months after that, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oof.
It seems as though that we shared everything in life, Peter.
Yeah, there you go.
I've been following you, and I stand behind you 1,000,000%. This country is headed to hell in a handbasket. Cancer, there's over 100-plus types of cancer. I do not know all there is to know and never will. Cancer in this country is 1 in 3, 1 in 1,000 in most other countries. In 2020, it'll be 50%. Of 100-plus types of cancer, they will have one or more. My wife ended up taking the orthodox treatments. She ended up going with the chemotherapies, the liquid rat poisons, and the Rotexatabs, the extract from a mouse's DNA. It's so widely used. The chops, the ice, and many other types, the methotrexates, the whole 9 yards. So, like I said, I don't know all there is, no one ever will, but I've been studying cancer for 8 years.
Well, how long did your wife survive after the diagnosis, and what was the treatment like?
Well, it was 6 years, but I did homeopathy on her too. I did homeopathy on her as well as myself.
Well, you're a smart man. So,
she had an autocell. And I think they wanted to try to kill her first before they sent her for a stem cell in Boston because the insurance company wouldn't cover it.
Well, you're not far off of the mark. And let's just let's bring it down to reality here. Chemotherapy, the intention of chemotherapy, even when it's prescribed correctly, is to bring you to death's doorstep, to kill everything in the body as much as you can possibly kill, bring you right to death's door, and then back off. And, into the bargain, you've killed all of the cancer cells. Well, you've killed just about everything else, too. And then they see if you survive. And this is supposed to be the most progressive, most scientific, most, humanitarian cancer treatment that there is in the world. Chemotherapy is a joke. There's only a handful of cancers, I think 1 or 2 types of cancer that chemotherapy is even remotely have remote positive effects for most things. Like my mother was a perfect example, as was your wife. It was the chemotherapy that killed her. It wasn't the cancer. But I digress. Well, how are you doing in your cancer battle right now, and what's going on with your health?
Well, I had something every man will get, says Linus Pauling. And you go back to Dr. Otto Warburg, Dr. Satori, and the 12 doctors that stepped outside the realm, outside of the paradigm, and treated Susan Summers. You go down to Dr. Good, Dr. Kelly, Dr. Gonzalez, Dr. Julian Whitaker, or the Whitaker Wellness Institutes. These doctors who treat with natural cures. You mentioned the word cure. It's like saying, okay, vitamin C now, ascorbic acid, cures cancer. Well, it does. Dr. Linus Pauling, actually put his into a dormant stage, found out he had prostate cancer at 73, took 45,000 milligrams of ascorbic acid along with vitamin K, put it in a dormant stage till he was 93, and in his last article wrote, every man will get prostate cancer if he lives long enough. Now, 33%, 1/3, 33 out of every 100 men have the cells in the prostate by the time they're 50. If you're 70 through 100, you'll probably go with it, not from it.
Yeah, that's right. And, Abe Hoffer, who was a contemporary of Linus Pauling's and a research partner of Pauling's, they published a number of papers together, and Hoffer's results were the same. That even in the, because these guys weren't involved in the clinical treatment of cancer, but what they found was that even when they gave vitamins, just mediocre vitamins, large doses of, 1 or 2 or 3 vitamins, fractionated nutrition, to men, women, or children that were undergoing conventional cancer treatment, their results were statistically superior to those who weren't undergoing vitamin treatment at the same time. So, and it's all been published. I mean, the numbers are in. The numbers have been in for decades now. Anybody that doesn't do vitamin therapy while they're doing, conventional cancer treatment is an idiot, because the research has been done, the facts are in. And quite frankly, anybody that undergoes conventional cancer treatment really needs to have their head examined, because they have been played by the pharmaceutical industry. Again, I wrote about this in my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, which, by the way, you can get for $9.99 at Amazon.com. Just download it to your Kindle, for goodness sake. I think it's $22 for a soft cover. But I have 10 questions that every cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist, and the top 3 questions: Doctor, can you cure my cancer? If you can't cure my cancer, what's your treatment going to do to me? And what are the long-term effects that I can hope to sustain from this treatment that you're giving? There are 3 of the 10 questions right there. If people just had common sense conversations, friendly, no-nonsense conversations with their oncologist, nobody would get conventional cancer treatment. Well, very few people would, because it only works a very, very small percentage of the time. So do you have a specific...
Well, doctor, I ended up doing what most men would go, please, they'd be scared. Go in there, cut it out, get it out. They presented on the table what they had available, everything from the radioactive, iodinized, charged seeds to robotics.
Right.
Now they're having all kinds of trouble with robotics. And I says, I will do neither. I said, your butt is in my chair. I'm scared. What would you do? He said, well, I do the robotics. So I looked at the urologist and I says, well, I'm going to grow some gonads and I'm going to go home and I'm going to try things that would make your head spin. So I come home, I read books, I got on the computer, I studied because my wife was sick with it and I was PO'd. And then I came down with it. And then in 2008, 5 years this September, month after next, I blew my heart out. I pressurized it, lifting a 500-pound Vermont cast wood stove, helping my son put it on his heart. On the 4th lift, on the 5th lift, while I was still having the MI, the myocardial infarction, I lifted it, and I packed the left circumflex 100%. I says, what am I going to do? So they go in through the groin, catheter, install a stainless steel Liberty stent. Thank God it wasn't the medicated ones. They say those are better now. But
very, very good. Smart man. Well, God was smiling on you. So where are you at now, and where are you at today in your relationship to your health?
Well, they had a recall on those stents, and I'm glad I had the stainless steel Liberty recall on my health. Well, let me tell you. I went in and he said, because they run this big thing across about PSA. Well, it's prostate-specific antigen. It measures the amount of protein in the semen and the gland. Well, 0 to 4 is normal. Men can die with a 1 and live with 100. Mine went up to a 4.4, and that's what suggested the biopsy. And I say that all biopsies, breast or whatever, are 100%, and mammograms, complete failures. Because when they find the cancer, they find a lump. It takes about 1 billion cells to even start a lump. And when they find it, it's already been there 5 to 8 years in the woman's breast. And
I could not agree with you more. And we're going to investigate this subject at length in the month of September. We're going to investigate cancer.
I'm sorry, sir, but I do want you to know. I took the cesium chloride. I took the dimethyl sulfoxide. I watched my pH. 0 to 14 is the scale. They go 7.34, 7.35, 7.4, you're dead. That's neutral. I bumped mine up to an 8.5 in a blue range and watched it because of alkalosis. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have alkalosis in the kidneys or in the intestines.
Well, I'm with you 100%. What happened?
Well, I'm still living. They said you'll be dead at 55, and I'm 60.
Very good. All right, this is a really great story. I mean, this is just a great story. You know, God rest your wife. God rest my mother. May God rest every woman, man, or child that's died from a chronic disease in this country, especially if it's a cancer thing. But this is the thing, right? If you, as a lay person, can on your own figure out a way to extend your lifespan inside of a diagnosis of cancer, if you can do it on your own, all by yourself, on your own, reading and researching and experimenting, what do you think medical professionals, holistic medical professionals, could do if you gave us $600 billion? Pharmaceutical industry gave us $600 billion instead of the MDs. For goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, we have been played. We've been played big time. We've gotten used to mediocre medical treatments delivered by Machiavellian MDs working in a monopolistic medical marketplace. How's that for alliteration? For goodness sake, we are going to hell in a handbasket. My friend from Maine couldn't be, he couldn't be more correct and more right on. This is a big, bad voodoo daddy. And I am here to tell you, it is a million times easier to prevent cancer than it is to treat cancer. Why? Because all we're left with in the treatment of cancer is anecdotal information like this guy from Maine, like people from Mexico, like people from Indonesia, people from all over the globe on the internet. Oh, I fixed my cancer with, beetle juice extract, whatever. For goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, it's an upside-down, inside-out, topsy-turvy world. And I am encouraging you today and every day to fire your medical doctor. Get rid of them like Abby did. Get rid of them like Allie from Maine did. Get rid of them because you don't need them. Support and promote the structure and function of your body. Give your body the chance it needs to fix itself with the 90 essential nutrients in a clean diet. Because God is my witness. Fire your MD now. Streaming live on YouTube, Dr. Peter Glidden, or just visit the website fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the link and you are there. Bada bing, bada boom. Looks like we're going to talk to Patricia now in the great state of Washington. Hello, Patricia. I'm listening. I've always wanted to say that.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks, Patricia. How can I help?
I have a client who has a rosacea on her face, and she asked me to ask you what she should do about that.
Well, is that it? Boy, that's a softball if I ever heard it. A rosacea, that's all that we have to fix is rosacea. Well, that's easy. You know how much they weigh?
I don't know, but I'm guessing she weighs probably around 120.
Okay, so this is a simple vitamin B, like baby deficiency. It's a vitamin B deficiency, probably B12 deficiency, but it can also be, of course, aggravated by a wheat allergy or a grain allergy or even an intolerance to one of the 10 bad foods. So in order to support and promote the structure and function of the skin here, which is what we need to do when we're up against something like eczema or rosacea or psoriasis or whatever, support and promote the structure and function of the skin, well, that's easy. We give the 90 essential nutrients if she's 120 pounds, more or less, than the recommendation. To support and promote, to give her skin the stuff that it needs to have a fighting chance to be, rosacea-free and to optimize its structure and function. Well, the recommendation would be one healthy start pack. Now, I like the start pack 2.0, right? I like the next generation stuff. Why? Because it's next generation. Why is it next generation? Because it's called the practice of medicine, the practice of science. We learn stuff, we adapt, we modify, we move on, and life is good. Any of the Healthy Packs 2.0 are the way to go right now with longevity. It's the way to go. It's like the next model year of the car, right? It's going to be better. So the Healthy Body Pack 2.0, the Healthy Body Pack 2.0 would be a good place to start. With 3 bottles of selenium at 120 pounds, 3 bottles of selenium is a good thing to do every month. And the secret sauce here would be 1 bottle of de-stress. D like David Stress, 1 extra bottle of de-stress a month. So that's 1 Healthy Body Pack 2.0, 3 bottles of selenium, and 1 bottle of de-stress, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods, and, take these nutritional supplements for 90 days. And inside of 90 days, for goodness sake, at 120 pounds, I would expect that she would see something noticeable and remarkable inside of the first month. Something noticeable and remarkable inside of the first month. Is that it, Patricia, or is there anything else?
Yeah, and that is incredibly helpful. Thank you, Doctor.
It's my pleasure, Patricia. Remember, we are all in this together, and if I seem tall to anybody, it's for one reason and one reason only. I'm standing on Dr. Wallach's shoulders. Dr. Joel Wallach, the founder of Youngevity, my colleague, mentor, and friend, has forgotten more about pathophysiology than most doctors know. I've learned more about how to be clinically effective with science-based medical nutrition since I've known Dr. Wallach than in the last 4 years than I had in the previous 20. I mean, no kidding. Dr. Wallach's knowledge base is extreme because of his research background and all of the clinical work that he done. Michael Jordan's one of the best NBA players, Wayne Gretzky, one of the best NHL players, Mozart, the Beatles, right, and Oprah, right? Somebody's got to be number one, and they do. I mean, we live in a dualistic world. Somebody's got to be number one. Well, in the undiscovered territory of science-based, clinically verified, licensed naturopathic medicine, my colleague, Dr. Joel Wallach, is untouched. Nobody comes even close to Dr. Wallach's research. Nobody comes even close to Dr. Wallach's research resume. And when you combine such massive amounts of research with clinical experience, well, that's going to be a home run every single time. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're up against a health challenge, my advice, fire your MD now. Eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. Get on board with the appropriate healthy pack for your condition. Give it 90 days to work. Give us 90 days to produce a specific and measurable, noticeable change, just like we did with Abby, just like we did with Todd Harrison, just like we did with Ashley James, just like we did with Duffy James and thousands of other people all around the world. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Join me for my live webinar tonight. It's for subscribers only. FireYourMDNow.com. That's FireYourMDNow.com. Click on the link to become a subscription holder, and I look forward to seeing you in the internets. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we're coming at you live again, God willing, right here on the Genesis Communication Network. Until then, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden reminding you that only you can prevent allopathic reductionism. See you tomorrow.